back to my channel. My name is Ariana Byers, and if this is your first time watching my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I don't take it lightly. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel down below. If this is not your first time watching, welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning back in. And guys, today I have a video that is kind of interesting. Okay, so if this is your first time watching my channel, I am on kind of like a little healing journey that I'm sharing with my YouTube family. I was engaged, okay? I was engaged. I was in a relationship for 3 years, and unfortunately, I had to end the engagement. We won't go into details about why, but I had to end the engagement, okay? Didn't work out. He's a great guy, but we just didn't work out. So basically, in sharing my healing journey, I've had a lot of people tell me like, oh my gosh, you're so strong, you're doing so well. Like, I can't believe that it's just been so easy for you. And I'm sharing this video to let you guys know that it has not been just overly simple, okay? Like, I have had some ups and downs, and I feel like I always share the ups, and I want to make sure that I share the downs as well, because that is how you learn. You learn from the low places in your life just as well as how you grow from the high places in your life. Lord, I was mopping the floor. I got my little mop all in the camera. Okay. So anyway, so we're gonna do a story time video where I basically tell you guys about one of the struggles that I've had since I've been in this season of my life. So, yes, as the caption leads you to believe, after I got out of my engagement, I did kind of take a tumble, okay? And I went back to a past relationship, okay? I spent the block, as people call it, and I'm here to tell you guys that that is a terrible, terrible idea, and encourage you not to do the same thing if you are in the same situation that I am. Going through a breakup, calling off an engagement, whatever. So basically, before I got with my ex-fiance, I dated a guy for about 2.5 years on and off, okay? Him and I were always really cool. We went to high school together, so we knew each other for a long time. And then we started hanging out. We reconnected at church, and then we just kind of, things took off, and we were in a relationship. We had a lot of differences that ended up ending our relationship. We just didn't agree on a lot. And so that is why eventually I ended up moving on and, you know, then being with my ex-fiance. Well, after me and my ex-fiance broke up, it just so happened that my ex and the girl that he was dating, it just so happened that they had a situation and they ended up breaking up too. So after they broke up, he ended up contacting me. I'm not sure if he knew that I was not in a relationship anymore. I don't think he did. While I was with my fiance knew about him, and he knew that me and him were still cool. We were not friends, but you know, we would still do happy birthday, Merry Christmas, blah, blah, blah. We never ended on bad terms. My ex-fiance knew that if he did contact me, it was nothing like that. Like, very basic, very level 1, nothing, okay? So anyway, he ended up contacting me after me and my ex-fiance broke up, and he was like, you know, I had this crazy situation with the girl I was dating. We ended up breaking up, and I was like, wow, that's crazy, because me and my ex-fiance, we are not together anymore. I moved out, I have my own place. And he was like, wow, that's crazy. So one thing about me and my ex is we definitely had like a trauma bond. When we first reconnected, we reconnected at church, but we reconnected over trauma. I had a lot going on in my life. He had a lot going on in his life, and we kind of connected over that. So as soon as he found out that I was single, he was like, wow, that's crazy. I'm single too. Let's hang out. Okay, mistake number 1. Like, I should have said, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to hang out. But I'm like, okay, I'm single, whatever. Him and I have always been really good friends outside of the fact that we dated, so whatever. So I hung out with him a couple times. We went out to eat, nothing crazy. Like, we literally just went out to eat a couple times. And of course, because we've been friends, we've had a relationship in the past, we always had fun. We laughed, we joked, had a great time. Well, after that, he started asking me after like a couple weeks, like, have you ever thought about like us potentially getting back together? And I was just kind of like, no, I haven't. And he was like, you know, I hate the way that things ended with us because we didn't have any major problems. Like, I feel like we were just young. We both believed in different things. Like, maybe we could make the relationship work again. And I told him no. I was like, no, I'm sorry, I don't think that. So time went on, and we still hung out and everything. And through my vulnerability, okay, I just got out of a relationship. I had been with someone for 3 years. We lived together. I don't know if I ever said that on this channel, but we used to live together. Like, I was used to being with someone. So now that my ex was kind of in that place, or like filling that void for me, when he mentioned us getting back together again for like the 15th time, I was like, you know what, Ariana, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Against all of my good judgment, against everything that I knew, because let me tell you something, like, whenever it comes to connecting with a person, I feel like you know deep down inside whether or not you should connect with somebody. You know from the jump, like, if y'all have that spark, if y'all have that connection, or even if you both are just open to that connection forming. And then you also know when you talk to somebody who is just not compatible to you, and like just someone that you shouldn't be with. And that is just how I felt about my ex. Like, we had fun, we were great together as friends, but whenever it came to being in a relationship, like, I think we both just know. He tried to act like he didn't know, but I think we both knew that, like, we were just better off as friends. But against my good judgment, I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and see how this goes. So we got back into a relationship, and during that time we hung out, we went places, and I just had really, really high anxiety during that time, okay? Because I knew that, like, we did not need to be together, okay? One, I was not healed from my almost marriage that I had, like, literally a couple weeks before. Although, like, me and my ex-fiance, throughout the last probably 4 or 5 months of us still, like, living together, we were very much so in the process of separating. Like, so, like, yeah, I had started my healing process, but like, when you move out and you're not with that person anymore, you go through a whole bunch of other emotions. So like, I just hadn't processed those emotions at all. And so I found myself taking those emotions into the relationship with my ex that I wasn't even supposed to be in that relationship, okay? That I wasn't even supposed to be in. But like, I didn't really trust him, even though he had never really gave me a reason not to, as far as then, like, up to that point. But I really didn't trust him. I would like question him about certain things, and I knew that that came from my last relationship. So we had that aspect of me just being a hot mess. And then he, I think, missed his ex-girlfriend. Okay, so we'll kind of get into that later, but like, he always wanted to do things that he used to do with her. And it's crazy that, like, I was just sitting through this, but he would be like, oh, let's go try this restaurant. When me and my ex were together, we used to eat there, and I loved it so much. And we would go, like, eat at that restaurant, and then he'd be like, it doesn't taste the same here. Like, because the girl lived, like, an hour away from him, almost 2 hours away from where I live. So he's like, oh, the restaurant where she lived, the food was just a lot better. And I was just like, okay, well, if you don't like it, it was your idea to come here, so like, whatever. And then there was another restaurant, like, oh, let's try this. We used to eat there all the time, and we would go try it, and he was like, oh, it was just much better where she lived. And like, yeah, that was a red flag, but then in the same breath, like, we both were very, very open about our past relationship. So like, I would talk about my ex, he would talk about his ex, as a form of like healing. Like, yeah, I went through this, da-da-da-da. So anyway, long story short, I just kept feeling a feeling inside that just let me know that I should not be with this man. And I felt really bad because when we broke up the first time, I broke up with him. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, okay, we don't need to be in a relationship, but I don't know how to get out of this. Like, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Let him tell it. He's very happy in the relationship. I told him that like I was having some doubts. He was like, no, you're fine. You're just overthinking things. So anyway, long story short, I said the prayer that everybody hates saying, because I feel like this is the prayer that God responds the fastest to. And the prayer is, God, if me and this guy are supposed to be together, let us work out. Let us work out. Let me stop feeling this weird feeling and let us just be together and be happy. And if we're not supposed to be together, I just prayed like, God, break us up. And I don't want it to be on me that we break up, because it was on me the first time. And I don't want to hurt his feelings. So like, I hate to say it, but like, let him do something, or like, let him just like feel like he doesn't want to be with me anymore. And like, I'm fine with that. I'll make it work, whatever. Y'all. God responds to that prayer. If you're in a relationship and you don't know if it's supposed to work out or not, pray that prayer, because I tell you what, within 48 freaking hours, we were broke up. Okay, within 48 hours. Let me tell y'all. So, say I prayed this on like, I don't know, a Thursday. Friday was fine, whatever. He did start seeming like a little distant, but by Saturday, he called me that morning and he was like, hey, I'm going to a family member's house. They live out in the country. We have other family members coming over. We're going to be doing some work. Long story short, I'm going to be busy today. I'm going to try to contact you as much as I can, but I'm going to be really busy. So like, if you don't hear from me, like, I'm going to be busy. So I was just like, okay, because this guy's the type of guy that will check in every hour, really every 30 minutes. He's always available. He's always around. Like, so I'm thinking like, okay, whatever. I'm sure it won't be that bad. Went on about my business. He probably said this at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So time goes on. It's like 12. I still haven't heard from him. So I'm kind of like, okay, you know, he's busy, whatever. I don't care. I say 2 o'clock rolls around, still haven't heard from him. I'm like, where is he at? But okay, whatever. He told me what he was doing today. So probably around 3, I did text him and I'm like, hey, is everything okay? Like, I haven't heard from you in a while. Like, are you good? You need anything? He didn't text back. So I was like, okay. So then after that, 4 o'clock rolls around. Still haven't heard from him. 5 o'clock rolls around. I text him again. Hey, what's up? Like, are you fine? Are you okay? I haven't heard from you all day. Like, I know you told me you were going to be busy, but that was like 8 o'clock this morning, 9 o'clock this morning. Where are you? He don't really say anything back. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I call him on the phone. He's not answering the phone. Call him a little bit later. He's not answering. So we get to about 10:30 at night and I still have not heard from this man. Have not heard anything. And I'm sitting here like, where is he at? Like, I know you're still not at your family's house. If so, you've literally been there all day. Like, did you not think to call me? And this is like so abnormal for this guy. Like, when I tell you he called, like, if I took a nap and he didn't know I was asleep and like he noticed that I wasn't responding or he hadn't talked to me in an hour, like he would like blow my phone up like and be worried about me. So this was very unusual behavior for him. And long story short, that night, 1 o'clock comes, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't hear from him. I'm confused. I can't sleep because I'm like, what? Now I know I don't pray this prayer, but like, where is this man? Like, hold on now, God. Like, I know I prayed this, but I didn't want it to happen like this. Where is he at? 8 o'clock in the morning rolls around and he messages me and he says, hey, I didn't get home until late last night. Basically, I'll call you later when I wake up. So I'm like, did you just get home? Like, what do you mean you didn't get home until late? If you slept last night, why are you now having to go to sleep and call me back later? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. So I call him, he doesn't answer the phone. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Like, what is going on? I text him, I'm like, I haven't talked to you since yesterday. Like, can you please call me? He says nothing. So at this point, I'm angry. And like I said, I'm still dealing with a lot of trust issues that I picked up from my past relationship. And I just go off on this man. Never did that before. But I sent him a message. I was like, you know what? You don't have to worry about me anymore. If you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to worry about it. Don't call me back. I'm done. I'm over this relationship. Like, you're acting so weird. I knew we shouldn't have got together in the first place. Whatever. Like, I'm done. So to that message, he responds, okay, that's fine. You don't have to worry about me anymore either. So you mean to tell me I'm texting you, I'm sending you all these messages, and that's the message that you respond to? So I'm like, this man is really trying to get me to like break up with him. And I know I prayed the prayer, but like, come on now. Like, hold on. God, I did not want it to happen like this. So basically, yeah, he responded and was like, okay, cool, we broke up. Like, whatever, I don't care. And so I'm just like, no, this is not good enough for me. Like, I need to know what's going on. So I called him again. He didn't answer the phone. Called him again. He didn't answer the phone. And at this point, I feel like something's up because I haven't heard from you consistently in like a day and a half. So I figured like maybe his ex-girlfriend was in the picture, or like he started talking to somebody else. Like, I figured something was up. So basically, I texted him. This was so toxic, y'all. Like, this is no indication of how I normally am in a relationship. Like, I was just outside of the will of God real quick, but I'm back now. Like, this was so bad. So I texted him and I was like, listen, if you don't call me back, I am going to contact your ex-girlfriend. I'm going to send her pictures of us. Not any bad pictures, but just pictures of me and him that we had taken. And I'm going to tell her that we're together, and I'm going to ask her, has she heard from my boyfriend? Because obviously something is going on. When I tell y'all, he called me within 35 seconds of sending that. He called me so quick. And he's like, what do you want? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do I want? Like, I have not talked to you in over a day. And you mean to tell me the one message I sent to you saying that I'm upset and like I don't want to be with you anymore, now you're responding and now you're like, okay, we don't have to be together. And then as soon as I tell you I'm gonna send a message to your ex-girlfriend, like, you're calling me? Like, if you wanted to be out of this relationship, you could have just said that. Like, you did not have to do all this. And he was just like, no, like, it has nothing to do with her. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but what is going on? He was like, no, you said you don't want to be in this relationship, so you don't have to be in the relationship. Like, I'm done with it. I'm over it. What else do you have to say? And I was like, what is going on? Be honest with me. What's going on? And he was like, I'm on my way to blank, wherever the girl lives. And the girl being his ex-girlfriend. Let me just put that out there. I'm on my way to basically go have a conversation with her, get back some stuff that I need, and basically have a closure conversation with her. And at this point, me and him dated for like probably 3 weeks. It wasn't very long. But I'm like, so all of a sudden you go missing on Saturday. I get mad and say I don't want to be with you, and now Sunday night you're on your way to see her. And he's like, well, yeah, I just feel like, you know, I need to take care of some business whenever it comes to her. And I was just like, now mind you, before I prayed that prayer, he was like, I don't want to be around her, I don't want to see her, I don't want anything to do with her, like, you know, it's me and you, we're good. Even though, you know, I think we both knew this was just kind of a trauma bond. Yeah, and now all of a sudden you're on your way to see her. Literally on the road, getting on the road as I spoke to him. And I was just like, okay. And I still don't have any answers. I do know that they are back together, which is fine. But as far as like where he was that Saturday, what happened that Saturday, I still have really no answers. And I don't need them because I know that prayer that I prayed really just orchestrated everything in a way to where I am single like I should have been from the beginning. So y'all, it was so crazy. And I say all that to say, like, when you get out of a relationship, I know it's hard not to go back to something familiar. And I really feel like that's what I was trying to do, just go back to something that I knew, even though I knew that I shouldn't do that. And it's always a bad idea to go back to an ex anyway, because if you do have to break up, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be for the reasons y'all broke up in the beginning, and then it's like you have to go through a whole nother small healing process on top of the breakup that you just experienced to get over both relationships. And it's too much. It's toxic. And unless you know that God has really told you to go back to your ex, I don't recommend it. If you know God told you to, then that's one thing. I believe that both of you have been probably processed in a way to where now you can be together and be happy and, you know, not have a toxic relationship. But in my case, like, I knew that was not what I was supposed to do, and I did it anyway, and I suffered harm, okay? I definitely suffered harm. Like, I will never do that again. So yeah, so don't spin the block, for one, and two, I'm sharing this just to let y'all know that, like, there has been some ups and downs. Outside of that, like, I have been pretty much single. I did go on like one other date, but after that, it made me realize that, like, I got to get myself together first. And I have had a great time just being by myself, healing, getting over the trauma and trust issues and different things that I had picked up. So that way, whenever I meet my next person, I'm healthy going into that relationship. So that way I'm not making him pay for the mistakes that my ex made, you know? And I just think, you know, we live in a time where it's like, oh, the best way to get over somebody is to get with someone else. Well, that's not always true. Sometimes the best way to get over a relationship is to be by yourself. And, like, yes, it hurts, but you need to be by yourself. You need to get back to you and figure out what you love and what you want out of life, and not worry about anybody else. Like, being single is such a privilege because you have the privilege to just worry about yourself. Like, I don't have to worry about cooking dinner for 2 people or making sure I check in with the person I'm with 24/7. I can move as I please, do what I want, and it's a very freeing feeling, especially when you're trying to just heal. Self-care, you can give everything to yourself. So thanks for watching. Like I said, I wanted to share this story because I felt like it was funny, for one, and two, just to let y'all know, like, it's not easy. Moving on is not easy. Healing is not easy, but it's very, very necessary. So subscribe to my channel. Make sure you look out for my next video. I don't know if it'll be as crazy as this one, but y'all, that story, ooh, it had me tripping out. But yeah, I will see y'all in my next video. Be sure to subscribe. Bye.